All right, all right, all right. I hope this is working here. So, folks, if you guys can see me, it is 6:36 p.m. Eastern time on my side of the house. So we're gonna give folks about 3 minutes. So we'll start the live actually at 6:39 p.m. Eastern time. So bear with me. Thanks for if you're already here. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. I hope we have a good conversation and we can engage in today's topic. So we'll cover all that good stuff here in a few minutes. In the meantime, folks, I need to just make sure that I have all of my settings and everything connected. So we'll see how that goes. Let's see here. All right. And just so you guys know, I'm looking up because I have a monitor up there. So I want to make sure that that is actually functioning and working and things like that. So again, we're starting at 6:39 p.m. Eastern time. So that's about another 2 minutes on my side of the house. So just bear with me. And if you're already on board, again, thanks for joining me. Let's make sure we got some things going here. Let's see. We are figuring this out. We are figuring this out, folks. Okay. Okay. Yep. Cool. Folks, I have like 1,000 windows right now. So I'm trying to see everything all at once. So so bear with me here. If I'm seeing this right on Instagram, Twin Hello Bread and Jessica, thanks for joining me. I appreciate you guys. I am right now just setting up. We'll be starting here in a minute or two. Make sure that I have all my screens and I can see everybody, so we can have a nice little show here and stuff. So we are getting there. All right. So let's see here. Okay. If you guys are on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook, by all means, like say hello in the chat so I see that you guys are there. And then I'll give you guys a little bit of a shout out. All right. Okay, we are almost there. Yeah, it's always weird because like when you're doing it live, I don't know how other folks do it, folks. I think they have background like editing people that are like, you know, handling all their stuff, their background, they're adding their the verbiage and switching, videos and things like that. So I'm not sure how everyone else is doing it, but I'm doing it this way. So what I normally do is just come on, wait a few minutes, and then we jump into it. And I think we're actually getting ready here to start. So I'm seeing folks jumping on Instagram. Um, so again, folks, if you guys are on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, by all means, put down in the chat, say hello so I can see you. And hopefully we'll have some engagement here today. And hopefully not, if we don't, then that's okay too. Hopefully you guys can grab something to take away from this today's episode that we'll be talking about. And I think we're actually going to get ready to start. So let me do that. Okay. We're going to take care of some house cleaning. And what that means is I'm going to remind you guys that I have a website, guys, beyondthefrequency369.com. You guys can find more information on this show, on me, on the things that this show is doing. If you guys are also signing up for True Vision, which I'll talk to you about that here in a second, which is also Mindsight, you can find those reserving links and spots, and also more information about it on the website. So by all means, go there. I have all my socials, my contact, my emails. I have my book out there. So let's put that up here on the screen. Cesar's Chronicles, The Anunnaki and Us. It's on Amazon. $8.99 paperback and $13.99 for actually that was the other way around. $8.99 for the ebook and $13.99 for the paperback. So you guys can go check that out. It's a beautiful story. It's basically ancient lore, ancient texts brought down to mainstream and written for children. So children can have an opportunity to see and read about some of this forbidden knowledge and have them decide whether it's their thing or not. I think it's a beautiful concept. And we've had a lot of folks purchase the book. I've sent some books out as well to some of my guests and friends. Everyone likes it. So you guys check out some of the reviews as well on Amazon to just kind of get a little taste of what it's all about. And don't forget, folks, our next goal here is 5,000 subscribers. Now, folks, I can't thank you enough. You all have been riding this journey with me. I started off, thinking I'm going to create a podcast to just, I don't know, talk to superhuman, supernatural people. And didn't really think it was going to go anywhere. And because of you, because of your interest, you guys have encouraged me to look and find for a lot of these amazing, incredible guests who have shared their experiences, their lives, their perspectives on our reality, consciousness, people that can do telepathy, channelers, mediums, tarot readers, UFO abductees, right? Everybody, all walks of life, all these human beings, these souls having this human experience, but sharing with us how they're experiencing this realm. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a safe place. There's no judgment here. There's nothing but love. And you guys have all been resonating with that vibe. You've showed interest. You've made comments. You've even contacted me and saying, "Hey, can you interview this person?" And I've said absolutely. And I've gone and I've looked for that person and invited them on board to the show. So again, I'm doing this because you guys are letting me know that you enjoy this. And I hope we can reach 5,000 subscribers sometime before the end of this year. That way, this message, this show, the guests can be introduced to other places around the world and reach more people and help them remember who they truly are before the world convinces them otherwise. And let's see here, folks. We also have this here. Let me actually, that one's going on a clock. Okay, here it is. All right, folks. So True Vision, as some of you may already know, I do Mindsight, and I decided to finally start teaching it. Now I'm teaching people my techniques, what helped me, how I learned Mindsight during those group workshops, or also I do one-on-one workshops where I just talk to all of you and you ask all the questions that you have, that you've written down, that you bring into the courses, and I share my perspective, my thoughts. I don't know everything, but I know enough to teach it. All right. Because obviously, if I can do it, I can tell you how I did it. And folks, I've had a lot of amazing folks come out of these workshops, and you guys can go to my website, actually. Okay. Go to my website, go into the Mindsight tab, and you'll see a lot of the testimonials from people, their experience of how the workshop was, the training, the conversations, and a lot of their success stories as well. So I'm really excited to be able to bring this out here. I'm not calling it Mindsight anymore. I'm calling it True Vision, because the individuals who sign up to these group workshops, I consider you true visionaries because you're seeing with your true eyes. All right. And I have 2 workshops coming up, November 2nd and November 9th. and there's limited slots available. So go to the website in the Mindsight tab. It's in the very top. You can read all about it. There'll be some buttons there where you guys can link and join the group, or at least reserve your spots. And if you don't want to do a group session, I am also offering one-on-one private sessions. It's an hour, and we go through all the steps. Okay, so that's my announcement there. I put it all over social media. I'll be continuously announcing it until those days have passed. So I appreciate all of you guys helping me out here. And let's see here. So, and today's topic, frequency 13, the number they erase from time. Okay. And we're going to get into this because I got a lot to show you guys. So with that all being said, let me actually go ahead and hit my intro and go from there. What if I told you that everything you know is just the beginning? Beyond the veil of the ordinary lies a realm of hidden knowledge, ancient wisdom, and untapped potential. A place where consciousness expands, reality bends, and the impossible becomes possible. You weren't meant to stay asleep. You were meant to awaken. Open your mind, remember who you truly are, and step with me beyond the frequency 369. Beautiful, beautiful, fantastic. Awesome. All right, so let me just check the chats real quick. Carlos, what's up, buddy? How are you? Thank you so much for joining. Again, Twin Hell Bread. Thanks for joining. Jessica, Avrialo, Jay Justin. I don't want to butcher anybody's tagline, but again, guys, thanks a lot for joining me and being here. So let me actually pull up something here because I want to start talking to you guys. All right, let me just make sure I have this. Man, guys, I have a whole lot of screen. I need somebody who will volunteer to help in the background and just put things up so I can just focus on the conversation. I don't know how everybody else does it on lives. They just like boom, boom, here's this and here's that and switch screen. So I'm figuring it out, but we're making it happen. So, all right, guys, enough of that. So why is it that the number 13 has always been feared? Okay, think about it. Hotels skip the 13th floor. Some airplanes skip row 13. Friday the 13th, a day people associate with bad luck, fear, and superstition. But folks, who told us it was unlucky? Who told us the number 13 was unlucky? This was just something that was just given to us. 13 is a bad number. Just like they say 7's a lucky number, right? Who chooses that? And as I'm talking here, folks, give me your thoughts. Like, where do you think this all comes from? We're going to break down a couple of things here during this episode, but it took me a couple of years back. I just kind of realized as I was going through my awakening process, I'm like, there's so much stuff that we're told about superstitions that we should be scared of this, we should be fearful of that, but why? And especially if we never even seen it. If you never put eyes on it, why are you defending the truth of somebody else? Why not defend your own truth? See it with your own eyes. In the military, we used to say eyes on target. Until I see it for myself, I'm going to have my own opinion, and so should you. Danielle, let's see. So Danielle, you're saying, so wow, this one is about the number 13. Darius just posted something on YouTube about the 10th and the other numbered realms and the three-eyed Alice. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So some of what Danielle's saying, there's a guy named Darius J. Wright. He's an OBE, outer body explorer master. He's all over the place. Some of you, if you watch my show and you've seen Bam and Andre and Corey, if you've seen all those folks, they've also have worked with or trained with Darius J. Wright. So that's interesting. The three-eye atlas, Danielle, I spoke about that last week on my episode with Bam, just a little bit, just some of my thoughts. But yeah, nothing is a coincidence. If he's talking about it, I'm talking about 13 as well. There's a reason, guys. There's something in the air. I actually had this idea for this episode. I try to do it at least like 3 to 4 days in advance, so you guys have an idea what's coming. But I ended up I went to Houston this past weekend to go visit my brother and his wife, and we came back on Monday. So basically Monday night, I was like, I need an episode. I need to figure out what I'm doing. So I decided the 13 was just something that was in the air. It's also Halloween time frame. So I think it all just made sense. L, you're mentioning, let me actually put this on the screen. So I thought it came from religion, superstition, based on the tale that there were 13 people at the Last Supper. Yeah, we're going to talk about all of that. So I appreciate you bringing that up. So, but again, folks, what if 13 was never cursed? That's my point here. What if it was sacred? It was hidden in plain sight and erased from our collective memory. Okay. So let's talk about it for a second. Let's talk about the lore behind it. For thousands of years, humanity has been conditioned to fear this number. You know, there's a tale in Norse mythology where there were 12 gods at a banquet until Loki, okay, the trickster. And you guys seen, you know, if you don't know who Loki is, you guys see him all over the Marvel universe, right? So Loki, the trickster, arrived as the 13th guest and brought chaos to the whole event. So there's an example on there. In Christianity, there were 13 people at the Last Supper. Okay, so just like you just pointed out, and Judas, the one who betrayed Jesus, was said to be the 13th disciple to sit down. Okay. So the number 13 became the symbol of betrayal, endings, misfortune. But that's only one side of the story, folks. The side that they want you to believe. Um, Wax Dreams. Great to catch alive. I was born Friday the 13th. Always been my favorite number. Good, good. I'm glad that there's people out there like you, Wax Dreams, that don't fear the number 13. If anything, you are embracing it. Okay. So, all right. So here's what we're talking about here. And yep, L, I'm glad that you agree with that too. Yeah, Loki, absolutely. So if you go back far enough, now we're talking about before organized religion and written history. Well, I should say rewritten history, right? You'll find the ancient cultures, the Egyptians, the Mayans, the Celts, all saw the number 13 as a sacred number. Okay. It represented transformation, completion, and rebirth. So it wasn't the end. Okay. It was the cycle returning back to source. And I'll explain that here. So now here's where things get a little bit weird. Everything in our modern world runs on 12. Have you guys noticed that? We have 12 months in a year. We have 12 hours on a clock. We have 12 zodiac signs, 12 disciples, 12 tribes of Israel. I mean, we can just go on, right? Everything runs on 12. Okay. But nature doesn't live by 12. The moon, folks, the moon orbits the earth. Guess how many times? Not 12, 13. The moon orbits the earth 13 times a year. Women have 13 menstrual cycles a year, not 12. Okay. Let me actually show you guys something. And Jessica, you're saying my ma'am also always told me the 13th is her lucky day. Okay, ma'am, and just so you know, guys, is ma'am like a grandma or like a mom? something like that, unless you misspelled mom and said ma'am. So, but yeah, no, 13th. It's really how you see it. Okay, most folks accept the fact, quote unquote, that it's unlucky, and that's what they take with them forever. Um, and I can see why businesses um don't want to how you say use the number 13, because then they feel like they lose a majority of the population in the area, because I want to stay around 13. I don't want to be around number 13, or go into a room 13, or sit in row 13. So they just kind of completely take it out of the whole conversation. So yeah, Jessica, okay, it was your mom. Okay, fair enough. Let me share my screen here. Okay, here it is. Just trying to find where to share my screen at. Give me 1 second here. Screen. Okay. Okay. All right. So hopefully you guys can see an image on the screen. Now you're like, who is this? All right. Well, folks, I was talking about the number 13, obviously. So there is actually a 13th constellation that I found. It's that's in our sky, called Ophiuchus. Okay, I may butcher that. Okay, Ophiuchus. Okay, Ophiuchus. All right, and he's known as the serpent bearer. All right, but this guy was cut off from the zodiac circle to preserve that whole concept of 12. Okay, and let me actually, I want to make sure that I change the layout here 1 second, folks, so that way you guys can also see me as I am. There you go. Wow, look at that. I'm like a little bubble right in the corner. Paranormal Radio, hey, thanks for joining us. Moisius Electrical 123, thanks for joining us as well. So yeah, guys, there is a 13th constellation, but no one talks about that, right? So the question is, why remove it? Well, because 13 connects us to the natural time. So 13, the rhythms of the moon, the body, the earth, and the divine feminine. That's what the 13th symbolizes. So to erase 13 is to erase the renewal of itself, okay, of the world, of the energies. So it's the pulse that keeps all creation in balance, if I can just explain it just like that. So 13 is the harmony of the universe. It's the bridge between cycles, the frequency of endings and new beginnings. So to demonize the number 13 is to teach humanity to reject its own connection to the natural world. All right. Now, before there was the modern solar calendar, okay, ancient people followed a 13th moon cycle. Okay, a 13 month calendar. Let's put it that way. There were 13 cycles of 28 days each, totaling to 364 days, with 1 day out of time. Okay, that single extra day was sacred, a time for reset, reflection, and alignment with the spirit. So the 13 moon calendar was feminine, okay, intuitive, and connected directly to the cycles of nature. So the tides, fertility, harvest, and emotion. It encouraged people to live in rhythm with the planet and their own inner energy, right? The power within you that we always talk about on this show. But when the powers to be, right, the gatekeepers, when they place systems and empires rose to power, they replaced the lunar calendar with what? A 12-month solar calendar. Now you ask why? Well, that's obvious, folks, because it was easier to control time when it was disconnected from nature. Remember 13, right? Balance, harmony, in tune. They don't want you to be in tune and aligned. So they created something. Man created something to make it easier to control time and keep you away and disconnected from nature. So the lunar calendar was fluid. Every month began with the new moon. Easy to read, look up in the sky, boom. It kept people in sync with Earth, but not with authority. But the solar calendar, the one that we use now, it divided neatly into 12 blocks. It allowed rules, religious institutions, and governments to organize, agriculture, labor taxations, when to worship around their systems instead of the planet's natural flow of things. So by standardizing time into 12 months, they can predict, they can schedule things. They own your rhythm, they own your flow. They made time mechanical, not organic. And when time becomes mechanical, people become mechanical too. All right? It's that simple. You wake up, you work, you eat and sleep by their clock, not by the inner one, not by your inner one, not by the flow. When it feels like, it's time to go to bed, when it feels like it's time to wake up, you're woken up by an alarm. You have a calendar, a schedule says that, hey, I need to go to sleep at this time in order to wake up the next day to go to this place at this time. That's control and structure. And a lot of us live like that. That's what they want. You celebrate their holidays, not the cycles of the moon. The 13th moon, the one that represents, reflection and realignment, that was erased, taken away from our natural pause to breathe and reconnect. So let me get some water here, folks. Where was I? Yeah. So, they control harvests, religions, money. Ultimately, they're trying to control consciousness as well. Okay. Let me show you another picture here. Oh, that's not it. Here we go. Now, what is it that I'm showing you here? Well, folks, even in Christianity, there's evidence of 13 disciples. Now, the 13th being Mary Magdalene. Okay. Now, this one's a little bit controversial because no, there's a lot of people that don't want to acknowledge Mary Magdalene as one of Jesus' followers, but she was, and it's even in the, I have a thing about the Bible being remade, how they take away information, right? How they take information from other places and see what fits in the narrative. But even in this canonized Bible that we have today, she's still in there in some fashion. Okay. Now, she wasn't just a background figure. She was Jesus' counterpart, his equal. I'm gonna say that again. His equal. Okay. The embodiment of divine feminine energy. So what am I saying here? I'm saying that she was the female version of Jesus Christ. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Based off of ancient texts, ancient lore, some of the how you say verbatim, even in today's Bible, that's the thought process. And I'm not alone in this. There's a lot of people that also agree with this as well. If you're on here right now, let me know what your thoughts are about that. And if you're watching the playback, put it in the comments. Okay. But they say that she would even do even after his when he died and came back and left, she was still around, and she continued doing these crowd talks and encouragements and all these different things she was doing. She was continuing Jesus Christ's work after he physically left. but they don't want to tell you that. And they don't want to tell you that, folks, because in my thought process is, if women knew that they were powerful then, all of the treatment that women got in the past wouldn't have happened, because the narrative that was written by religion at that time was men are always going to be in power, women are secondary. But here, as I'm telling you, Mary Magdalene was equal counterpart to Jesus. Okay. Now, you guys can look in the Gospel of Mary, one of the ancient Gnostic texts that was found in Egypt. She's known to be teaching other disciples, as I mentioned earlier, sharing, her high knowledge about the soul and the consciousness, but her presence didn't fit the church's narrative. Okay. So her story and her role was erased. Okay. When the 13th disciple was removed, so was the balance between masculine and feminine. Okay. So the story was left incomplete. 12, without its harmony, which is the female, the divine energy, the circle missing its final point. Okay. I want to talk to you about another area where 12 exists. You guys have heard a lot of my friends, a lot of my counterparts, parts in the outer body exploration talk spiel, right? And they talk about there being a construct. Carlos says, hence why the female component was taken out of the creation story. Absolutely. Completely agree with that, Carlos. So we have an understanding, we as in the outer body explorers and other folks that probably don't even do outer body, but still have the same thought, that we live in a construct. Okay, I'm going to explain that, folks. So don't get all bent out of shape on what that is. But again, you've heard me and my other friends talk about the construct. How we live, within this layered system of realms, right? So in total, there are 13 realms. Okay, each one representing a different level of consciousness or plane of existence. So let me see if I can show you guys. Okay, perfect. Good. I was hoping I had this on here. Let's see if that. Okay, that should be good there. All right. What am I showing you here? Folks, a lot of different cultures way before NASA, okay? Way before NASA, thousands of years before NASA. This is how they saw our realm. This is how they understood our world, okay? Our universe in its entirety. Every single one of these, pick one: Babylonian, Hebrew, Norse, Mayan, Islam. Everybody believed that we lived on a particular plane and that it was housed by what some folks are familiar with the term firmament. Okay. And the firmament is what houses all of these different layers within the construct. So, what does construct mean? Let me put it in a simple term. Think about the word universe. Everything that you know in the known universe, planets, stars, galaxies, ETs, like whatever, everything that you know, that you understand today as the universe, just call it a construct. All right. Process that for 1 second. That's what we mean by construct. So all of that, everything that you know, exists in a construct. All right. One construct out of an infinite amounts of other constructs outside of that one, all with different experiences. All right. Well, we might get into what that means, but just to not blow your mind and everything, I want to make sure that you understand what I mean by construct. It's the known universe. Okay. So, yeah, you guys can see even in the Islam, The Islam picture there, you guys see all the different layers. They talk about layers, right? In the Egyptian culture here, this depiction here, this woman here, she looks like the night sky or water. There's a lot of people who believe that there's a very thin layer. There's the firmament, and then there's water. Okay, and this is how we come through into each realm. Each realm has a layer and a thin sheet of water. So again, we'll probably get into that, but I just want to show you guys what I mean by the construct. So if all these like ancient civilizations and cultures believe that this is how it looked, why is it that NASA, who was, I don't know, developed in like the 1960s, which is not too long ago, all of a sudden they just changed the whole idea? So forget all these cultures. What do they know, right? What do they know? We're going to go ahead and tell everybody that we live in a globe. This is what it looks like. We have a few continents here. Is the planet bigger than we say it is? We're not going to tell them that. They don't need, to know. Are there ETs that also reside on this planet? They don't need to know that. Is there a dome around it? They don't need to know anything that we don't tell them. That's how they tell us. So when you go on Google Earth, a lot of you go on Google Earth and you guys are like, man, like I'm seeing everything. No, you're not. Folks, I'm sorry. You're not seeing everything. When you think that you found like, oh, this, look what I found here. This is some people are looking around on YouTube or TikTok and they see like, I see a little UFO photo there, or I see this cave here. Folks, Google is owned by a company, which is run by people, right? Nothing's going to go out without them reviewing it. Yeah, they tell you, oh, well, it's a satellites and they take photos and things like that. Okay, let's follow that narrative. If the satellites are taking photos and they are capturing all these images of our planet, it still has to be reviewed and filtered by powers to be, the gatekeepers. There's areas where you guys will go on your map and it has a bunch of clouds. Why? Is it because they just happen to catch clouds there? There's some areas like, Antarctica, North Pole, huge cloud structures that, guess what? If you go back 10 years and follow the timeline, those clouds never move. That's weird. Are those the only clouds on the entire world that just don't move? Carlos is saying, let's see here. Let me put you on here. We are also in water now, just a different density of it. I like where your mind's going with this. And I also like your comment about the 33 continents. So Carlos, I see where you're going with this. I may or may not touch base on that, but I know what you're talking about. Okay. And folks, if you're interested, if I don't cover it today, there's just so much to cover on just what Carlos said that maybe we might do it on a different episode. So, all right, guys, back to the construct. So we're here right now. This is the first realm. Okay. So think about it as a plane. Okay. Realm 1, that's where we're at. Then there's realm 2, realm 3, realm 4, all the way up to 12. And then it's encompassed by the 13th layer. Okay. Just follow me here, right? I'll show you some more diagrams here in 1 second. So realm 1 is the physical realm, the plane of experience and duality where humans, right? Where human consciousness begins our journey. Okay. Above that, so you leave the firmament, you go through a thin layer of water. Now you're in realm 2. That's what some folks in the community, in the esoteric community, in the outer body community, we refer to as the galactic realm. If you're hearing this for the first time, folks, just bear with me. If this is for you, stick with it. Continue to listen. If it's not for you, hey, I appreciate you staying with me this far. there's other channels out there that might resonate with you. But if this makes sense to you, it's because you're remembering just a little bit more. All right. So again, realm 2, right above us, is the galactic realm. And it's a vast field of cosmic awareness and interstellar intelligence. So it's basically like it's where we see where we get our ETs. Okay, our ETs are from that realm. Now, what exactly are these layers, right? Or what exactly is the firmament? Okay, the understanding of what the firmament is, it's not an actual glass dome. Okay, it's not a glass, it's not a ding ding ding, it's not a glass dome. Folks, it's frequency. Remember, everything, everything that exists, to include you, is light and energy. Light, energy, one and the same. Okay. So if like you guys seen the videos where they shoot up a rocket and it goes up there and then starts to like skip and things like that, and folks are like, it's a malfunctioning rocket. Some folks are like, oh, it hit the firmament, so that's what it is. But it's not that it actually hit something. Everything in realm 1 vibrates at a particular frequency. The realm, the firmament vibrates at a different frequency. So if they're not vibrating at the same frequency, then they're going to bounce. They're going to interact, in a way where the rocket hits this frequency and it bounces off. Okay. Every object that's around you guys, in wherever you're at right now, in the living room, kitchen, whatever the case is, everything that you're interacting with, if you are vibrating at the same frequency of those objects, your hand will go right through it. Okay. But you don't. I'll do one more realm. So we did 2. Realm 3, that's the Egyptian or the Atlantean realm. Okay. This is where ancient wisdom, ancestral knowledge, higher technologies, all that stuff exists there. That's the space where like the Anunnaki, the builders, the watchers, the ancient teachers, that's where they reside from. Okay. So I won't go into all the details of each realm right now. That's a conversation for another episode, but dedicated to just talking about the construct, because again, we're talking about the whole 13, but this fits all that. Okay. 12 realms and then the 13th layer. But what's more important is to understand is that these realms, they stack up, okay, on top of each other. So these realms, they form the framework of this construct. Each layer higher in vibration and understanding than one and the other. Okay, so they understand the one before it. That's what I was trying to say there. And above all them sits that 13th realm, which is the firmament. And this is the outer shell that holds everything within it. Okay. It's the boundary, the mirror, the containment of the cosmic system itself. Okay. So now all of this, it's not separate from the rest. Okay. It's just, they're all stacked on top of each other in a different frequency. So don't look at it in the physical mindset of like a floor, like floor 1, floor 2, floor 3. They're all, when I mean by stack, think about it in the spiritual cosmic sense that you're within each realm. It's all on top of you. It's all not like this on top of you, but it's here with you. And I'm trying to do my very best to try to explain this, because it is it's not easy. Okay. Let me see if here, let me share this. I'm gonna share a different screen here. Okay, should be coming up here soon. Perfect. All right, you guys should be able to see this. Folks, I even took the time to do a little PowerPoint, and it's just one PowerPoint slide, but I just wanted you guys to like see the best way that I can kind of describe it, because there is no picture out there. There's nothing in it that we can just put as a visual so you guys can understand. So look at it as this first line here is realm 1. That's where we exist. And then there's realm 2, and realm 3 all the way up to realm 12. And then this containment field here is the 13th layer. And this is like a snow globe. Okay. All right. I'm not trying to take the divinity out of it, but just kind of want to give you some kind of visual understanding of what that is. And every layer is a frequency. So all right, I won't beat that horse to death. Okay, but let's go ahead and stop sharing that. Okay. And where's my okay, I'm back there. Folks, let me get some water here because wow. That was a lot. Again, folks, if you're digging any of this stuff, let me know. If you have some thoughts about it, let me know as well. Let's conversate. T, Mosaic Electrical, The Bomb Best, Wheezy Spiker, Ashley, Angelic. Again, folks, you're coming in from Instagram. Thanks a lot for showing up. I appreciate you being here. Let me make sure I get my screen squared away, and then we'll just continue here. Okay. All right. Perfect. So, folks, when we talk about the number 13, we're not just talking about a number. Okay. We're talking about the very structure of existence, the pattern of consciousness itself. So here's a possible question that you guys may have. I would think you guys, I'm trying to channel in what you guys are probably thinking. Are the planets, moons, suns within the construct or outside of it? Well, folks, if you remember not too long ago, I mentioned the answer is yes. Okay. It's all within this construct, the known universe. Okay. Now they occupy different layers of perception and density within this construct, but still they're inside the construct, okay. They're all within it. So I hope that answers some of you who are just kind of maybe wanting to ask that question. Let's see here. I'm moving a screen here, folks, so bear with me here for 1 second. Okay. All right. And let's see if I have, okay. I had another photo that I was going to show you guys, and I don't have it here, but what I do have is a video that I want to show you guys. So I am going to share that. So give me one second here. Set this up. How do people do this so fast? All right. I found it. All right. So this is a 2-minute video. And what I'm going to show you is currently this is how astronauts are trained before they go into outer space. And we're going to talk about this. Okay. So just bear with me here. All right, cool. So let's watch this, guys. All right, let me pause that for 1 second. And I don't mean to laugh. I'm sorry. They just kind of involuntarily came out. Folks, you are seeing a spacesuit. I'm going to say it again. You are seeing a space suit underwater. Think about that. Okay. Why is there a spacesuit underwater? Now, they're telling you where they're simulating space. Well, we have huge machines out here in the world that do so many things. We have the Hydron Collider and things like that. We have giant facilities. If the space program is that important, to some folks, then why wouldn't they build a facility, take out the vacuum, have folks go out there or go into this facility and simulate, you know, how you say, space, right? But instead they use water, and it's supposed to let me actually just continue playing here, but just follow me here for 1 second. Um okay, I get it. They're underwater. There's a lot of people in there protecting the astronaut, so in case something happens. But that's not real world simulation. When you're out in space, it's just you. It's just the astronaut and maybe their partner. They don't have all of this, right? So I'm I was prior military, and I was taught that you practice as if as if you're actually doing it in the real world. Okay. Somebody here saying, Carlos is saying they are simulating space because space is water. It's kind of where I'm getting at, folks. All right, let's just finish the video here. It's got about a minute and a half left, but Carlos, we're on the right track here. Okay. They told on themselves. Exactly, Carlos. All right, let's continue playing. That's your NASA control center, folks. Yeah, if you're inside water. Look at that. Just a couple of people just checking out, right? But what happens to an astronaut if they need help in space? Hmm. Oh yeah, they leave them there for months. Yeah. Simulate zero gravity. Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely. The vacuum of space, folks. I don't see space. I see water. The blue world. This whole thing, let me stop sharing this. This whole that whole thing was showing us that astronaut suits do very well underwater. I didn't see anything. Put cameras in a big room that they take the air out. Let's see these people floating around and whatnot. Let's see them do these tasks. Show us that. They're not going to show you that, folks. All right. Now that we got over that, and I want to hear you guys' thoughts. If you have thoughts about what you just saw, if what I showed you made sense in the sense of like, well, yeah, of course they have to use water because of this, and you agree that you still believe that space is a vacuum and whatnot, that's okay too. Okay, I'm not saying I'm not saying that you're wrong. Okay. I'm just sharing with you information that they are showing us. What happened to the whole like I have to see it to believe it, right? I just showed you something, and I got that from YouTube. Okay. I didn't produce that. They produced that. Okay. So just keep that in mind. The number 13 reduces to 4 in numerology. Okay, I love numerology. If you like numerology, give me a thumbs up. But number 4 is the number of foundation and stability. It's not it's not destruction. It's transformation. So in the tarot world, the 13th card is death, not an ending. But a rebirth. Okay, the Egyptians believed that there are 12 stages of the afterlife, and the 13th was transcendence, the return back to source. Okay, the Mayans said that the universe was built on 13 heavens, 13 vibrations of creation itself. And I just mentioned to you guys 12 layers, with the 13th layer being being uh being the firmament. Okay. So folks, 13 is not chaos, it's evolution. Okay. It's the spiral of life completing its turn, ready to rise back to source. Okay. Yeah, Carlos, four pillars, the foundation, which is why we get our directions: north, west, south, east, right? Um so yeah, no, that's a beautiful thing. I'm just It's very hard to share this with a lot of folks because a lot of people don't understand this. It's not about trying to convince you, it's trying to show you something, and then when you see it or when you hear it, to be able to discern for yourself if it resonates with you. It's not saying here's where it is and that's what it should be. No. Who does that? Government, NASA, those companies, right? The gatekeepers. That's what they do. Okay. What I'm trying to do here is just share information and have you discern if it resonates and it's aligned with you. And like I said earlier, if it is, great. If not, that's okay too. Okay. We've been told to fear what we don't understand. But the truth, folks, the truth is that 13 holds the code of renewal. Again, that's why they took it out of our calendar. It's the lost piece of the puzzle, the hidden frequency that connects us back to nature, the cosmos, ourselves. Okay. So again, to erase 13 is to erase the whole connection to the divine and to the balance. And I want to give you guys an example as well. All of you have clocks. I'm talking about not the ones on your well, yeah, the ones on your arms too, but the ones with a face, right? So look wherever you're at right now. Look at a clock that has the 12 hours on the face, and then it's contained by something. Whether you have it on the wrist or if you have it on the wall, there's your 12 there. And if you take the 11 and the 1, 12, right? 10 and 2, 12, right? 12 all the way down. Every which way that you look at it, it always adds up to 12. That's the structure that they gave you. But what contains that 12? The clock. That clock is the containment of those 12 hours. They're showing you their system of structure right there. So we have it. When we look down like this at our clocks, they're showing you we have you under our control. Clocks everywhere. You can change it into a digital format. It doesn't matter. It's all housed. That time is all contained. Your time, your energy. Okay. Sue, let me put you up here on the screen. So Sue's saying water is fascinating. It is where all life evolves from. I totally think it's very possible space is water. What else is fascinating about water is that it doesn't have a set frequency. Absolutely. And I appreciate you sharing that, Sue. And a lot of so when we come in, when you're born, let me just put it this way. When you're physically born, like a baby, right? You come out through a womb, right? Full of water. Okay. That's how you come from Picture it this way: you're a spirit, you're a godlike being first, okay? Then you materialize yourself into something dense. You become a baby, a human, and then you go through water. Okay, you forget what you are, your omnipotence, right? You forget all that. You come through water, it cleanses it out. Now, as a baby, before you hit pre-K, you're still connected to that divine energy, to source. So you see, this is why toddlers can see things beyond your frequency as an adult. They interact with things. They're like, wow, everything's new. Like, they're putting blocks and dirt in their mouth. It's not because they're like, oh, it's just because they're a baby. It's because they know, without being able to speak, they know what they are. And right now, or at least they still have what's that called? Not feedback, resonance. You guys probably fill in the gap of what I'm trying to say here. You guys do telepathy, okay? See what I'm trying to say here, but they still have some of that. I'm just gonna call it feedback. I'm not sure what the words coming to mind here, but like a residue. That's what it is, a residue. They have this residue of what they were, and now they're in this physical, and they're like, wow, what is this? And they're touching that, and they're putting things in their mouth, and they're doing all these things because they're exploring. They're exploring the physical self. They're experiencing it, and then they get put into the school system. Now the school system starts having them use their left brain, right? Their logical, their analytical side. You have to do things via structure. Okay. You have to your creative side. Every now and then we do art class and stuff, but before you do anything, there's a process to it. Think this way. Okay. They don't really fully encourage all aspects of your divinity. Okay. So just something to think about there. So what I'm saying, folks, is that 13 is not unlucky. 13 is alignment. It's renewal. It's the bridge to source. Folks, I can go all day with this, but I'm going to wrap this up here soon. Here's what I ask you to do. I'm asking, the next time that you see the number 13, don't see bad luck. See truth. See harmony. See the number they erase from time. Okay? That's what I'm asking you guys to do. And folks, this was a great live. I appreciate you guys sticking around and listening and watching. I hope this has sparked some kind of remembrance. It may have encouraged you to do your own research. Again, beyond the frequency 369, my objective is to just help you remember. Okay. So I may not give you all the information. I may not know all the answers, but it's up to you. It has always been up to you to take what you're listening and what you're hearing, turn it upside down, and ask the question again and see if it resonates with you or not. Okay. So with that being said, folks, again, I have a website, Beyond the Frequency 369. Go there, check it out, look through all the tabs, see what's going on there, see what's happening. And as a reminder, I do have 2 True Vision workshops coming up November 2nd and November 9th. Limited time, limited slots are available. So please, I know the first one's already almost booked. Second one is a quarter along the way. So you still have time. Go in there and open your mind. Like, I will show you some techniques that will blow your mind, and you can take those techniques with you and practice on your own until you finally achieve true vision. Michelle asked a question. Let me put this on the board here. How do you think we could try to flow better within the 12 constructs? How to flow better? Here's my general response to this, Michelle. Remember who you truly are, what you truly are. Okay. And everything that you do, everything that you say, everything that you act on, your thoughts, everything that you do in this realm, do it with love. Do it with love. Go into the center of you, okay? And make sure that when you speak from the heart, when you act from the heart, okay? When you have thoughts about yourself or other people from the heart, that's what it is. You'll talk to anybody, any spiritual person who's had an experience of sorts, and they'll always tell you that the answer is love. Love is the highest frequency, folks. So if love is the highest frequency, what do you think the lowest one is? Well, the lowest one has to be the one that they can use to control you. And that frequency, folks, is fear. Fear and lost. Where are you getting that from right now? The news, politics, right? You're getting a lot of fear and loss in that, put you in that mindset from things like that. And that's how they control you. Okay. Yes, Carlos, I will put that up. Look within and trust you, right? Trust you. All right, folks. Like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And share it with somebody. Go to work, talk about this, talk about the number 13. Change the perspective. When you change your mindset, you change your reality. Okay. You and I can be experiencing the same situation, but if you look at it as a negative situation, it's going to be negative. I'm looking at it as the same thing. And if I see it as a positive thing, to me, it's going to be positive. I'm not going to see any negative. And what that does, that mindset creates a vibration, a frequency within you. And that feeling projects outwards. And through that, that's what creates your reality. You guys know this. I'm not telling you anything that you don't already know. You absolutely know this. You've had these experiences. When you feel like you're having a bad day, everything starts to continue to be bad. You trip on the side of your bed, you spill glass, you're running late, you're not hitting all of the traffic lights. That's you projecting your reality, folks. Wake up. That's you projecting your reality. But you've also had the other experience of when everything's going right, when you feel like everything's great, you're in this great mood, everything around you, your reality, the people talk to you well, you got a random check coming in through the mail, your favorite meal, your favorite song. Folks, wake up. You create your reality not by thinking about it, but by feeling it. Feel it. Have the thought. Feel it. And then create it. With that being said, folks, I love you. I see you. I hear you. I am you. Continue to ask questions. Don't be afraid to pull back the curtain and take a deeper look. Push forward, always reaching beyond the frequency.